Okay, let's see how we do here. Hello, hello. It is I, Restre Alk, introducing myself in perhaps the strangest way I've ever done, but never mind, never mind. Assembling the OC-1X Orca today, which right now looks like a pile of random chunks of pewter, but when we're done it will look a little something like that. Although frankly I don't know if I'll do a full assembly. It'll probably be easier to paint if I keep the upper and lower halves of it separate. Let's get some music going here actually. There we go. I think it's playing now. I should actually monitor it so that I can tell if it's playing or not. Yeah, there we go. Alright, a little bit of background music. Hopefully my fan in the window isn't drowning me out too much. Ideally the mic won't be picking that up, but that depends on if I got my noise gate settings right. So, what do we need? Glue. I am a big user of super glue because I'm lazy and I don't want a bunch of different types of glues for different materials that I'm working with. And I work with models that are plastic, pewter, resin, 3D printed, which I guess is a different type of resin given my printer, so you know. Paper towel, good for wiping scraps off of my tools and for absorbing a little bit of the extra liquid in the glue. That's one of my favorite tricks, is just stick a tiny scrap of paper towel between two parts that you're trying to glue together. Hobby knife, will need this for cleaning. Chopping off little bits and pieces, smoothing things out. Clippers, also for smoothing things out. Well, chopping off big bits like that chunk right there. Yeah. That's what the clippers are for. Some filing tools. Those would be good. Again, smoothing things out. Lots of things for smoothing things, it occurs to me. And a drill, just in case these gun barrels have any little artifacts in them that I need to remove. That one doesn't seem to, so it's not a good example. But this barrel does if I can get the camera to focus. Let's try turning this light off. In my earlier experiments, that helped a little. No, not quite. Well, you'll have to take my word for it. Okay. And sadly, I don't have a pinning set. I used to have one, but after changing homes 3 times in as many years, I misplaced it along the way. So these clippers are made for plastic. I don't know. I think they'll do the pewter okay, but I don't know how long they'll last. I may end up having to replace them. Although they're fairly new, so they should be okay for a few pewter models anyway. And no drill bits small enough for the pinning rods that I had, which is fine because the rods themselves are also no longer with me. And despite the heat, I am wearing long sleeves and gloves because I'm finicky about getting glue on me, which is to say I'd rather not, frankly. It's a hassle to remove. So, let's get going here. The Orca, as it says on the label, is a Superheavy BattleMech. One of 5 different classes of Superheavy. Not one of only 2 to make it into mass production. A total of 12 Orcas were built, and I believe they only saw combat on 1 occasion. Let's see. The trouble here is looking through the viewfinder. because I'm having to use OBS to look through the viewfinder because my camera application won't display this camera's output at the same time that OBS does. It has a fit. So I'll do my best. And since it was working last time, I'll try and figure out, well, I say last time, when I was experimenting with it, I'll try and figure out how to make it behave again. Another day. So where was I? Orca. Lore, yeah. Let me talk a little about the lore of super heavies in general, actually. The first super heavy BattleMech was the Matar, which was developed in the last years of the Star League Civil War. The usurper, Stefan Amaris, ordered it to be built and assigned his cousin Rifkin to the project. Stefan wanted a siege defense mech that could hold off, I believe the demand was an entire company of BattleMechs on its own, which was a tall order. Really, I'm not sure even an Orca could take on a full 12 mech company by itself. Depends on what kind of BattleMechs are in the company, I guess. Anyhow, Rifkin designed a 110-ton BattleMech called the Matar, loaded with any number of bits and pieces, 20.5 tons of armor. Stefan Amaris demanded flamers, so it had a couple of those. I believe a pair of Gauss rifles. It was loaded for bear, in short. Was the Matar. The problem was the gyro stabilization technology that existed at the time couldn't keep it upright. So when the test pilot climbed into the first prototype and attempted to make it walk, it threw an error message because it knew that if it took a single step, it would immediately fall over. Stefan Amaris, being the kind of guy that he was towards the end of the uprising, the revolution, not revolution, the Civil War, I should say. I guess it kind of was because nobody won. Star League wasn't around anymore, so you can't call them the winners. Anyway, being the kind of guy Stefan Amaris was, he told Rifkin to execute the entire design team for, I believe the charge was given as treasonous incompetence. To fiddle with the fit of these parts a little more later. Maybe I should get my putty out, do a little gap filling. Well, I'll figure that out later. Anyway. So, the Matar got shelved. Rifkin attempted to escape from Terra with the designs in order to continue his work. But the Star League caught him, tried him for crimes against humanity, sentenced him to life in prison, and I believe he was murdered in a prison riot, if my recollection holds. The Star League took the designs for the Matar with them into exile. Clan Smoke Jaguar. I hope it was Clan Smoke Jaguar, or else my memory's way off. Their scientists, their technicians, I mean, developed a new mech based on the chassis, which used superior clan technology and a bit of streamlining to get down to the 100-ton limit, and they called it the Stone Rhino. I have a Stone Rhino around here somewhere, but it's not within arm's reach, so I can't show it to you. But that's okay. You'll probably see it later, assuming you haven't seen a few already. elsewhere in the world. So, with the failure of the Matar, the whole idea of super heavy battlemechs kind of fell by the wayside as the inner sphere collapsed into technological regression, and the clans sure weren't interested in it because, you know, they're very traditional within their set traditions that they made up for themselves. And so the idea was shelved until the word of Blake Jihad. The Blakeists, having nationalized Scobell Mechworks of Terra. Oh, that reminds me, the Matar was built by Ameris Armaments, which may or may not have been Scobell under the rule of a guy who likes to stick his name on everything. I actually don't know. I'll be honest. Either way, Scobell, under Blakeist control, built the Omega, which was 150 tons, using all manner of new technological advancements to maintain its balance. The Omega was actually capable of moving, and it fought against Devlin Stone's coalition when they came to liberate Terra. But unfortunately for the Blakeists, it was not enough. Probably, at least partly, because there was only one of the darn thing. Now, Devlin Stone was quite interested in the technology. Even though he was big on disarmament, he wanted to see just what could be done with the concept of a super heavy mech. So he contracted Scobell to take the lessons they had learned building the Omega and use that knowledge and experience to construct the biggest battle mech that could be used in combat. In other words, the biggest mech that could walk and shoot, and presumably not collapse under its own weight when it got shot back at. When the enemy shot back at it, I should say. Grammar. They developed the Orca, which has, what does this thing have? I believe it's got PPCs in the torso, or maybe that's a PPC on this arm, and Gauss rifles in the torso. I keep forgetting. My memory is not that good. The main weapon over here is a sniper artillery piece. No, a thumper cannon. No, wait, I'm wrong both times. It's a sniper cannon, which is a snub-nosed version of the sniper artillery piece. Shorter effective range, but similar firepower. Well, the same firepower, really. It's the same projectile coming out the barrel. Or at least the part that explodes is the same. And numerous other weapons that, again, I have gone and forgotten. Now, the Orca, 200 tons, I believe I mentioned. I hope I mentioned before now. The heaviest battle mech ever constructed. I believe the heaviest battle mech anyone has ever even attempted to construct. Surely no one's managed a heavier one. It does, however, have some flaws. There were issues with the software, which made it hard to control even for its size. Targeting problems. just a whole pile of problems, mostly because, you know, Sator was still in beta. Now, Scobell Mechworks built 12 of them. And I believe they were a little disappointed, to be honest. Hang on, let me take a swig of water here. Because of the Orca's problems, they felt that they hadn't fully fulfilled their mandate. But Devlin Stone was, if my memory is correct, a bit pleased. He had a better outlook on it than Scobell did themselves. He hadn't wanted a battlefield functional machine. He wanted a proof of concept. And a proof of concept is exactly what he got. So he had Scobell Mechworks shelve the project, move on to more traditional mechs, retool some of their lines to industrial mechs, what with the whole disarmament thing. And that was considered to be that. The one time the Orca prototypes saw combat was during the Senate Rebellion. Scobell's test pilots fished them out of cold storage and used them against the rebels. Despite their problems, I believe they actually performed fairly well. So, all in all, not a bad proof of concept. Even if Devlin Stone didn't get to see the Senate Rebellion battle. And then it turned out that with the introduction of the Fortress Republic Protocol, Jonah Levin wanted a new Super Heavy mech, one that could be mass-produced. And thus the Rhodes project came about. Operated by the Rhodes Foundry at Devil's Rock, which I believe was created in part specifically for the Rhodes project. The goal was to create mass-producible super heavies and to overcome the problems with the Orca. Project Rhodes produced two designs, almost in tandem: the Poseidon Tripod BattleMech at 125 tons, and its cousin, the Ares OmniMech at 135. As tripods, their torsos were essentially massive turrets, and any direction could be forward with minimal effort put into turning. That dealt very well with the maneuverability problem experienced by previous super heavies. Rhodes Foundry wasn't able to overcome the primary logistical problem, which is that super heavy mechs are too big for standard mech bays in dropships, and thus have to be transported as cargo, which means they cannot be deployed with anything like the speed that a BattleMech can normally walk out of a dropship's bay. So they're not suitable for first strikes and really any action that requires rapid deployment. Despite that, the Poseidon and the Ares acquitted themselves well for the Republic, although not well enough to prevent the Wolf Empire from conquering Terra. I believe the designs for the Poseidon and the Ares, at least the Ares, are in the hands of the Free Worlds League. Salvaged examples are in the hands of the Wolf Empire and Clan Jade Falcon. And frankly, I don't know what will happen to the designs from there. Okay, it looks like those can just rest in there. Oh, maybe not. Nope. Well, one can just rest in there, but the other doesn't quite pull it off. And then like that. I guess I want it more like that. Right, we want to hide the smooth parts where there should be details but aren't, so yeah, they can't just rest after all. Alright, that's fine and dandy though. We'll just do that. We'll see how well it holds together without pinning. I may have to go and acquire a set of pinning rods. But we'll see how we do with our glue and, if necessary, our paper towels. Okay, those can park like that while I get the torso into one piece. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Score the side there. Alright. And we might as well score this side while we're waiting. This music was all procedurally generated, by the way, my background music, and I haven't actually listened to all of it, so hopefully it's not terrible in your ears. Oops. Well, I guess I'm going to need paper towels on that, so much for scoring. Just little teeny scraps, that's all I need. Absorb some of the liquid. Yeah, this will definitely be easier to paint in pieces. Top half and bottom half. Maybe I should even leave the... Actually, maybe I should attach this part and then leave the arms and legs separate. Actually, that wouldn't be so bad. Of course, this arm has the separate shoulder guard, but that actually wouldn't be too bad either. Yeah, I'll go with my original plan. Top half and bottom half, I think. Okay, are you gonna stick together for me? Oh, no, I feel that section sliding. Yep. Alright, let's get capillary action working for us. If we can. I might need to get out my other bottle of glue. This light is still too strong. Keep forgetting that, of course, the white metal is going to shine real bright on the camera under that light. Okay, we'll let that rest like that. See if it behaves itself. And we'll see if we can... This goes on straight, right? I see, I see. Maybe I should actually stick this on and keep the legs separate? Maybe I should have made these plans ahead of time, but where's the fun in that, right? This would be a little too rote if I planned everything out in advance. How much of that is supposed to stick out? I don't think any of it. Yeah, looking at the illustration, I think that's right. Alright. We're not even going to try to do it without the paper towel this time. Right in there. Squish. Yeah. Drop. Maybe another one. Drop. Second guessing how much glue to use is one of my bad habits. And I'm sure that it has made some of my builds more difficult than they had to be. But that's just the kind of guy I am. This one's going to be a little difficult, holding it in place. Just the right angle until the glue solidifies. I guess if it's off by just a tiny bit, that's okay. Get it to rest upright like that. Nice. All right. I guess you're probably on there solid enough that we can do your shoulder guard. Slide that out of the way so I don't get myself into trouble. And the guard goes about there. Oh yeah, that'll actually be just fine. Smear some glue along there. And plop the panel there. And then we just hold it for a little bit. Now, this kit didn't come with a base, which is normal for Ironwind Metals kits. And it's a little big for the standard 1-inch hex base. So I need to consider my options there. I think what I'm going to do, because I play Alpha Strike, and in Alpha Strike, the Orca has the large special ability, which means range is measured from a 2-inch AoE placed over it. And I figure I could just put it on a 50mm round base. Because 50mm is what, like... it's a little less than 2 inches. I think 2 inches is like 51mm or 50.8. So I mean, it's close enough that I don't think anyone would like flip the table over. At least not if they weren't going to flip the table over because I put an Orca on it in the first place. So I think that's what I'll do, because I'm pretty sure I have a spare 50mm base that I can just stick this bad boy onto after I've fully painted and assembled it. Because that's why I'm leaving it in pieces, so that it'll be easier to paint. And my memory is so bad that I already forgot if I told you guys that already. Although, honestly, let's see, that's the right way around? Yeah. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to paint in one piece. Although putting it on a base to paint wouldn't quite fly, I don't think. It might be a little too heavy for that. I don't know how Warmahordes players did it back when the mechs were, back when the Warjacks were all pewter. Because that's the thing, with the base, I don't think anybody will mind too much. It's not like Warmahordes where everything's got to be on a specific base. As long as we can obey the rules, it's okay. Right? That's my line of reasoning. And I think that's fairly safe. Probably a good way to think about it. Oh, no, that's... Is that even adhering at all? Let's get some more of that capillary action going. So the only spots we didn't need paper towels were connecting the legs to the feet. How about that? Well, that's fine. That's why I have the paper towel in the first place. I'm not even going to try to do the sniper piece, the sniper cannon arm, without the towel. There we go. Drip. Drip. One more drip. It's a big chunk of pewter that we're sticking on there. Have it at an angle up like that, because of course it is an artillery weapon. And now we just, wait a minute. For those wondering, because I'm fussy about safety, I am wearing a pair of safety goggles. Because one time, I was working with a knife blade just like this, and the tip popped off, and it hit my cheek millimeters below my eye. And I said, safety goggles from now on. No exceptions. If I'm working with a knife, safety goggles. I do also like to wear N95 equipment when I'm working with resin. I once knew a gentleman who used to claim that wasn't necessary until he started coughing up scabs because of the resin dust that he inhaled. So now, I don't take that chance. My lungs aren't the best, but they're the only lungs that I have, so I'm kind of clingy with them. Very protective. Now, can we stick your leggies on? This is the part that might be a bit of a fiasco. Can we stick your leggies on? Or have I cursed myself? I feel like... Yeah, I feel like that angle is correct. Well, maybe not quite. Maybe it should be a little more like that. And now I have to re-glue it, but that's fine. Because the back of the leg there was whacking on the bottom of the torso, and that's not what we want. that's not how mechs walk. So we'll do that instead, and that should give it a little more clearance. A nice thing about pewter is that you can do this. With a plastic mini, the parts would be fused. Although plastic has a number of advantages, I really like injection molded plastic minis, I'm going to be honest. But of course it is a bit of a struggle actually manufacturing them. It's not a cheap process getting an injection mold made. So a lot of companies can't quite deal with the expense. I'd like to see Iron Wind switch over, but, you know, I understand the reality of it. They're a niche manufacturer here. So, you know, it's not something you can just walk in, you know, the boss can't just walk into the office one day and say, hey, let's just get a plastic injection molds for our entire product line. How's that sound, gang? There's a lot that goes into it. Oh yeah, that'll do. That's what we're after. Now, the real question is, will the glue be able to support this weight without being pinned? That's the concern. Because we are dealing with a lot of weight, relatively speaking. The Mini as a whole weighs about half a pound, a little less. I stuck it on a scale because I wanted to know. And most of that, of course, is not the legs. Ah, come on, stay stuck long enough for me to pick you up. You can just do that so I can make sure you stay at the correct angle. You're not going to do that. Okay. Either daub of glue, maybe. Just do this and hope. I'll just do this and hope. Famous last words, but that's the route that I have chosen, and I'm stuck with it now. What have I done? I've made a mistake. It's a mistake that I make often when assembling minis. And I've made it again for you live on camera. For the whole world theoretically to see. And I can only take comfort in the fact that, to be honest, probably fewer than the whole world will actually ever watch this. Are you gonna stick now? Are you? That's a maybe. I'll try to hold you while affixing the other leggy. Why am I saying leggy instead of leg? Because I've been listening to a lot of anime slushy lately. And so I am picking up on Cube Watermelon's speech patterns. I would pick up on Phoenix Feet's speech patterns, but for some reason Australian English just eludes me. So no offense to Fiend, Did I pull it off? That's a solid maybe. And a maybe is better than a no. Can I turn you around and look at your front? Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. That's not quite good. Well, honestly, it might sit on the base better. Well, the lip of the base. But, oh no, that's not the part I wanted to detach. Now, listen here. There we go. Okay. I'm not quite sure how that even came to be. Is that... Oh, the foot... This leg is... The other leg isn't quite level. Okay. So that's how that came to be, and it's my fault. As one might suspect. That's fine. That's fine. We can hide the problem with proper basing, and again, it might overhang the lip of the base anyhow. Just inject some glue in there. Almost said inject some plastic, I'm still on the molds. Okay, we have the OC-X1 Orca. Let's, oh no, the tripod. I wanted to bring the camera lower so I could point it at the model a little better. Can we just detach it from the tripod? Maybe. I'll try to minimize movement as I unscrew it. There we are. The largest BattleMech ever manufactured. It's a beastie. Let me grab Mini. I've got some of those salvage boxes within arm's reach, and I'll just pop open the first one that I have and forget which mech this is because it's not one that I'm very familiar with. As I go through the stack of cards, hoping that I don't embarrass myself too much while I find it. Okay, there it is. It's a guillotine. A heavy BattleMech. Let's get a size comparison there. So you can see the Orca is a big boy. Although it is fairly, I was gonna say fairly compact, but for its weight, it's fairly compact. It's certainly no Locust, I'll tell you that. Alright, I'm gonna let the glue cure a while, a day or two. And after that, I will prime it. We've had some fairly nice weather. I can probably get a day where I can spray some primer on this puppy. And then I'll paint the thing. I might do that on stream. Just to try it. So the last time I tried a painting stream, the camera would not cooperate. So I got a completely different camera, which is the one I've been using today, and it seems to be behaving itself. Speaking of things behaving themselves, my network connection has greatly improved in its stability as I pick up random bits of pewter with my fingers and sprinkle them onto the cutting board there. So yeah, things should be better from here on out. Do I have anything else I want to say? I don't believe I do. Custom Robo on Friday. It's been too long since I've done anything that I've felt was good enough to see. So yeah, that'll be good. And then I don't know. Next week we might get back into MechWarrior 5 at long last. Or play a different game. I mean, I've got my Switch hooked up to the same capture card. Well, I can only plug in one at a time, but I can plug my Switch into the same card as the GameCube. I can play a Switch game. I don't know. I'll make up my mind. Half of me wants to seriously just record my model train running for like an hour and just play that. Because I mean, why the heck not? I feel a strong empathy for model trains. Anyway, I will see all of you later.